Hello from Myrtle Beach. We're here today at the Market Common to give you our best tips for moving to Myrtle Beach, especially if you're moving from out of state, but the tips would apply to almost everyone. Hi, I'm Carmen, and if you're new to our channel, we cover everything Myrtle Beach and the surrounding area. And if you're a return viewer, welcome back. So glad to have you. Stay tuned to the end because we're also going to give you our 3-month update of what life has been like here living at Myrtle Beach. And if you're wondering why we're driving around Market Common in the housing area, we thought you might want to see one of the more desirable neighborhoods and areas. It's not just one neighborhood, it's actually multiple neighborhoods to live in this area. If you're moving across state lines, you'll have to hire one of the big moving companies. We didn't realize this. There's only certain moving companies that are licensed to cross state lines. And so you'll have a limited number of options. So keep that in mind when you're choosing your moving company. Before you schedule movers, don't assume that you can get in your house right away. In the state we moved from, you got your keys at closing immediately. Here, the builder or the person selling the home to you can actually withhold the keys up to about 24 hours or even longer if you close on a Friday until the deed is actually at the courthouse. And while we're speaking of movers, schedule your mover as far in advance as you can. A lot of them offer discounts if you schedule them in advance. I know that's not always possible, but if you can, it definitely can save you a few dollars. Once you move here, apply for permanent residency as quickly as possible to save quite a bit of money on your property tax. We have a video detailing the steps to do that because it is not simple, so I will link that video in the description below. Before you move here, you're going to want to do a lot of research on where you want to live and work with a good real estate agent. There are a lot of different areas to consider, including North Myrtle Beach, Surfside Beach, Garden City, Murrells Inlet, Carolina Forest, and even much more beyond that. One surprise we had is both our homeowners insurance and our auto insurance was a lot more expensive than it was where we moved from. And if you're new to our channel and don't know, we moved from North Carolina. Because this is a hurricane area and also because of the driving statistics for South Carolina, both your homeowners insurance as well as your auto insurance will likely be higher depending on where you're moving from. So just keep that in mind when you're setting up your new budget. Also related to insurance, you may be required to get flood insurance depending on where you move in the Myrtle Beach area, and that's an additional expense as well. This may be common sense, but expect it to be quite a long time after you've moved to the area before you can really start enjoying the fact that you live here. Beyond unpacking, there's a lot of logistics, especially if you're moving out of state, so it's going to be a while before you can start enjoying the reason that you moved down here in the first place. Depending on how far from the beach you are, keep in mind that you may need to purchase hurricane protection, such as shutters or other coverings for your windows, and also sandbag-like devices to cover your doors. Those can be quite expensive depending on what you get, so it's another expense to keep in mind and something you might not be thinking about up front. Brace yourself for extreme traffic during the tourist season. I know you may think, yes, I've been down there during tourist season. I know what it's like, but it's not quite the same once you live here and you're not on vacation. You might want to go 3 miles down the road to the grocery store, and depending on where you live, that might take you 20 or 30 minutes to go those 3 miles. Take advantage of annual memberships such as to Ripley's Aquarium, Brook Green Gardens, the state parks, and other attractions like the Skywell. Also, a lot of local attractions offer locals discounts, but they don't necessarily advertise them. So if you are going to an attraction in the area, a show, be sure to ask them if they offer a locals discount, and they will want to see your new South Carolina driver's license that we talked about when we talked about getting your residency as quickly as possible. And now for our 3-month update. It's actually been just a little over 3 months. It's been about 3 months and 2 weeks since we moved to Myrtle Beach. And we are still settling in. It sounds crazy after this long. We've long since unpacked, but furniture is on severe back order right now. And so we are still missing a lot of new furniture. And so you don't get that completely settled in. Also, because we bought new construction, we're still working out kinks in the house with the builder. And so we aren't there yet. However, we're getting there day by day, and things are starting to feel normal and getting a normal routine. Also, living this close to the ocean during a hurricane is a different experience. We did have hurricanes where we moved from, but we were further inland, and when you're really close to the ocean, it is definitely a different experience. And the one that we've been through was only a Category 1, so I'm not looking forward to the future stronger hurricanes that I'm sure will come at some point. And so that's another thing to keep in mind. I mentioned that for our own personal 3-month update, but also as a tip of something to think about before you move here. I know some of you are going to think, oh, you're so lucky to be there. And so don't take this as a complaint. It is not. I love living here. If you follow us on Instagram, which if you don't already, I highly recommend you following us there. I post regular updates on Instagram showing all the walks on the beach and everything. I love it. It's wonderful. But one thing we've noticed is you lose your escape place. Like if Myrtle Beach is where you came to get away from it all, it's no longer your escape. It's still wonderful, but if you want to get away, you still need another place to go. And I know that sounds funny and weird, but you know, if it's where your home is, where you're working, where you're paying the bills, you're still going to want a different kind of place to escape to. So that's something to keep in mind as well. If you've enjoyed this video, be sure to click on the video on your screen right now and click subscribe so you won't miss anything new. Thanks so much for watching. Until our next adventure.